Orks will be the top army in Warhammer 40K for a while, since they are part of the new edition starter set. So GW is going to buff the crap out of them to get those sales up. Can you blame them though? But they have a massive model range, a brand new starter box and launch box, several valuable ways to build the army, and they're coming out swinging in the opening weeks of 11th edition. So, are Orks one of the best armies to start in 11th edition, or an expensive collection trap hiding behind a fun faction? Orks are in a very strong position right now. They have enough unit variety to build for every force disposition. Several detachments are seeing early success, and the army isn't being carried by one broken combo. Boys and Gretchen transports, fast mission unit, knobs or noobs, depending on how you want to say them. All their units contribute to a solid list. Early tournament numbers back this up. Events with 20 plus players, 5 rounds, Orks won 60% of the time out of 216 recorded games. Picked up 3 event wins, and 14 of the 44 Ork players finished undefeated or 1 loss. Purge the Foe performed especially well, though Taken Hold had the larger sample and still finished above 58%. Now, I wouldn't choose an army just because it's winning in the first few weeks of a new edition. Points and rules will shift. We've already got a balance update that just dropped. What matters more is that the collection underneath those lists is generally useful. Boys still hold objectives, Storm Boys will still move pretty quick, and transports still deliver those Gretchen. Orks are an aggressive board control army, not a walk everything at the enemy army, unless you got 100 boys on the table. A normal list wants to occupy space, pack cheap units on objectives, and stage dangerous units behind terrain, and force the opponent to deal with several threats at once. A mixed 2,000 point list can run 50 to 80 models. Now, if you go green tide heavy, it goes way higher. You can shoot just 100 boys alone if you wanted to. And the person who just won the Tacoma Open a couple weeks ago, he did the green tide and he had 100 boys in his list. Most Ork units aren't individually durable though. The army survives through tough bodies and temporary defensive bonuses, transports, and large target saturation. Your opponent usually can't remove all your problems at once. You're out shooting your tank busters, your flaskets, or more DACA build. Supports that plan, but the core identity is closing distance and winning at short range or in melee. Faster units keep the army from becoming a slow control though. Your Storm Boys grab exposed objectives. Your Commandos establish early presence. Squig Hod Boys threaten vehicles from bad angles, and transports get infantry across open ground. A good turn feels busy, Gretchen onto an objective, Storm Boys into position, and one mob hiding, another pushing forward while you judge when you call that special Waaagh. The plan is simple. Not throwing away half the army while executing it is what takes practice. If you've enjoyed the ride so far, hit like and subscribe. We drop new videos every Friday. So now let's break down the Waaagh. Once per battle, at the start of your command phase, you can call the Waaagh for that round. Your Orks can charge after advancing, melee weapons gain strength and attacks, and the army gets a 5+ invulnerable save. Don't call it turn 1 though. Don't call it the moment you can reach something though. A strong wall turn has several units positioned to benefit it at once. You got your boys threatening something, your Squid Hog Boys with a worthwhile target. Important here, transports ready to disembark fast pieces with somewhere to go. The advance and charge bonus tempts new players into relying on the long charge. If it fails, that unit is stranded and open after you've used your big moment. The defensive bonus here matters as much as the extra attacks do. Sometimes you call it just to survive crossing that table. Now, this is a beginner-friendly rule, one big decision per game. Not a resource to track every single round, so that's very helpful. But It rewards players who start positioning for it before you even call it. You start planning a phase ahead or turn ahead. Now let's talk about some of the detachments, because they got some pretty sick detachments here. Not as many as Space Marines, but we got a solid number to work with. Orks have 12 detachments across all 5 dispositions. 1,000-point games gives you 2 detachment points. Now 2,000-point games gives you 3. So some of these detachments use your whole 3 points. Others are 2 points and 1 point, so it gives you a little bit of room to combine some of these detachments. So let's talk Green Tide. It is a 2 detachment points. It is a take and hold disposition. You got large mobs of boys holding objectives and grinding through your enemy's numbers. Start with 20, 30 boys, assuming you want that 80, 100 boys list. Some people love that big green horde though. Others get burned out from painting 100 green little miniatures. I've painted my fair share. I would still love to have 100 boys on the table though. Then we got the Tactical Brigade. 1 disposition point brigade. It's 1 detachment point. Disruption is its disposition. It's booster boys, commandos, and storm boys acting after advancing or falling back. So the army keeps scoring while it fights. Pairs well with Green Tide if you're doing the 2,000-point army. Now don't overbuy specialist mission units just because the detachment likes them though. Then we got the Bully Boys at 2 detachment points. It is Purge the Foe. Built around war bosses, knobs, or noobs, depending on how you want to say it today, and mega knobs, getting extra Waaagh. The benefit, fewer models, harder hitting models though. The catch is delivery. Knobs and mega knobs need transports and character support to actually reach the fight, which makes this a pricier starting point than it looks like. Then we got our Roland F, 1 detachment point. Priority asset supports big transports, battle wagons, the hunter rig, the killer rig, with reliable advance and charge. Strong combined with Bully Boys, but expensive and space hungry. Start with 1 transport before building a convoy of them, just to see if you like it. Boys are the foundation. They're objective players, screening, plenty of bodies. 20 to start, 30 gives you a little bit more options. And then Gretchen handle the boring jobs, your home objectives, more screening, so boys don't have to. Your storm boys are fast and cheap. Then your commandos, they're a little pricier, but they help you forward deploying, give you speed and board presence. Tank Buster are direct anti-vehicle answer, though they do need protection. A war boss is a character to start with. A weird boy adds a little bit of movement tricks for you. Then stop adding characters for a while. 3 characters next to 20 boys doesn't add scoring power. 1 truck is useful once you know what is carrying. Buying 3 before deciding, that is how your collection gets ahead of the players. The new getting started orc set that just came out, or the Combat Patrol, they just haven't named it the Combat Patrol yet. It includes a War Boss, Weird Boy, 20 boys, 10 Gretchen, and a War Track, 11 paints, a brush, some texture spreader, and a booklet. They're all push fit though. Comes in at 170. That's a pretty good start to most of the list you want to build with the orcs. It is a very strong first purchase. You got some infantry, your home objective players, some fast units. Currently, the box comes in roughly 395 points. So the weakness is the damage. This box has no dependable answer to a tough vehicle or monster. So that should be an early follow-up purchase. It's a great pick for a true beginner though. All right, so let's try to build a 1,000-point army. We'll go the Green Tide with Take and Hold. We'll come in somewhere around 980 points, I think. We got the War Boss at 75, a Weird Boy at 65, 20 boys come in at 150. That other set of 10 boys, 75. Now Gretchen, 45. Throw 10 commandos in there at 120, 5 storm boys at 65, and 1 war track at 60. Add in 6 tank busters at 125, 4 Squig Hog boys at 135, and 1 truck at 65. The War Boss anchors the big boys mob for center. Stay hidden until you activate that wall. The Weird Boy supports the smaller mob as a flexible piece. The Gretchen sit on your home objective most match, and your commandos hold the center early and then back off. Your Storm Boys and War Track work the flanks. Tank Busters ride the truck toward vehicle targets. And your Squig Hog are second anti-vehicle threat that can also grab a side objective if it's open. Now, this list won't win a tournament. I'm not giving you that. But it is built to teach you every part of playing Orks, so you can expand from your experience rather than guessing at your 2,000 points. Now let's talk about what not to buy first. This guy right here, he's a great model. Hands down, he goes in almost every list. But 235 points tied to one character who still needs the rest of the army to deliver and protect him, I would build that 1,000-point army first before adding him to it. Don't get multiple copies of one specialist unit based on a hot tournament list. 1 unit teaches you what it does. 3 makes your collection dependent on current points and rules. Then heavy investment in older vehicle kits. Game Workshop has already announced a new truck, mech, and multiple war boss for the coming codex. 15 detachments. Pricing and dates aren't confirmed yet, so don't stock up on the older kits before knowing what's replacing them. Now, Orks aren't expensive per model. They get expensive because you need a lot of models. A practical 1,000-point army is a starter box and a sample army unit. Runs roughly 500 or 600 at full retail. 2,000 points lands around 900 to 1,200. Your boys, they run about 48, and your Storm Boys, 42. So now the Orks, they do have a very strong secondhand market right now because of launch boxes and all these starter sets dropping. People's pulling the Space Marines out and then just dumping the Ork boys on places like eBay and stuff like that. But now since the Orks wins rate's going up, I've noticed the prices are starting to go up a little bit. So just be careful on what you're buying and where you're buying it at. So what's a major pain point for the Orks is board presence. Cost, time, and money. You got more boxes, more building, more painting. And it takes a lot to move 100 boys from one side of the table to the other. Then you got your melee staging isn't fully forgiving. Expose boys too early or call the wall before you're ready. The opponent picks the army apart piece by piece. The huge model range makes almost any purchase seem reasonable, even though most units don't belong in the same first 1,000 points. And the faction is mid-update. Current rules are solid, but the new codex is coming out fairly soon, which means a whole lot of stuff's fixing to change with these Orks. Orks are one of 11th edition's earliest winners right now, and success is coming in from multiple directions. Take and hold, purge the foe, those both got pretty strong win rates. The army isn't propped up by just one solid list right now. There's multiple lists and multiple players winning with these Ork lists. A 60% win rate this early won't last untouched though. Some of these lists, they have a 60% win rate, and GW won't let that stay up too long. They're fixing to do a normal balance change, and Orks are going to get adjusted a little bit and go down. But they will still be a top tier list. So is Orks going to be a good fit? If you want an aggressive army with a lot of movement and mission decisions, and you enjoy the hobby side of 1,000 boys, go for it. And big point right here, if you're okay with losing 20, 30 models at a time, because whenever boys start getting taken off the table, they go off in big old packs. It can be a little intimidating at first, but you have to remember that you still have 80 some models on the table if they just wipe 20 off. So Orks are one of the strongest starting armies in 11th edition right now. And they definitely hit S tier. Their biggest strength and biggest risk is their freedom though. You can start small and expand into infantry, transport, noblets, shooting, or vehicles without starting over. But the huge range also makes it easy to buy a lot of Ork models without building one coherent Ork army. For a player who likes the models and doesn't mind painting a larger army, the advantage clearly outweighs its problems. So, is it beginner friendly? 8 out of 10. The painting and building side, we'll go 8 out of 10 on that. The cost, 5 out of 10, because you will need to get a lot of models. Its rules difficulty, 7 out of 10. Flexibility, 9 out of 10. Tabletop strength, 9 out of 10. So we're going to throw this in the S tier. And we do have affiliate links in this video. They cost you nothing to use, and they really help the channel grow and help make videos like this. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.